the purpose of the nuclear weapon. We're going to show today the purpose of the nuclear weapon, to prove beyond any shadow of a doubt that it's written of in the Bible. We will also use the Apocrypha to show in detail the impending wars that are about to take place in this world. The nuclear weapons will be used in this earth very soon. So Yeshua, which is whom some of us ignorantly call Christ in this world, talked about these particular prophecies. He talked about a time in which there will be nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, that the love of many shall wax cold, the enemy shall be in your own household. He talked about the earthquakes in diverse places in Matthew 24. These are the signs of the coming. Also, the scripture talks about when the masses start talking about peace. There's no such thing as peace talks. There's no such thing. You don't form weapons for peace. There's a spirit in the earth that's arming all the earth with these nuclear weapons, and I'm going to go into it. You can write these scriptures down. They're prophetic. Go to Ezekiel 7 and 15, 7 and 25, and 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. Ezekiel 7 and 25, let's go there first. We're going to use the Bible in the Apocrypha to show you the nuclear arms and what's coming. Now, you know today that it was mentioned earlier that Iran had up until today to start powering their nuclear reactor. This is prominent in prophecy, according to the Bible. And Russia really was the block in the way that slowed Israel from actually, destroying that reactor before it had an opportunity to start. Russia was the block in the way. That's the bump in the road. Okay? So now we're here today in a world that will soon have a nuclear Iran, which means the time is ticking out on Israel as a state. And I say Israel as a state because Israel have not been the land of Israel since our people left Israel. It's really an American occupation in the Middle East. That's exactly what that place is. It's an American occupation in the Middle East. It's not an actual government established under the Most High. They did not fulfill any prophecy in 1940 going into Israel. That was not prophetic at all. It was a staged show. That was not prophetic. The children of Israel have not inhabited Israel as of yet. So those prophecies have not come to pass. Let's go to Ezekiel 7 and 25. A matter of fact, all this is good, but let's start at the 22nd verse. This is prophetic, the prophet Ezekiel.
Ezekiel chapter 7 verse 22. My face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place. For the robbers shall enter into it and defile it.
Who shall enter into it?
For the robbers shall enter into it and defile it.
That's what happened in 1948. Because Israel fell as a people, the robbers were able to go into the land and defile it. These are sorcerers at its highest level in Israel right now. The Rothschilds are on mountains with red doors, dealing directly with Satan and dealing with all types of witchcraft, Kabbalah, the Talmud, ancient Babylonian witchcraft. They've went into the land and defiled it, polluted that land. On top of that, they are claiming to be a people that they're not. They've polluted the Holy Land, and now they are building what you would call a new temple. And the Bible told us about this temple, that they would sit in the temple of the Most High, claiming to be the Most High, as they are today. They try to build a new temple, or Satan's seat, within the land of Israel today. Read.
Verse 23. Make a chain.
Listen to this clearly. Make a chain. Go ahead.
For the land is full of bloody crimes.
For the land is full of bloody crimes. What's coming out of Israel? Bloody crimes. So the real people of Israel is not in the land executing law from the land of the Lord. Bloody crimes are coming from Israel today. Fake wars. Funding Mossad, funding the CIA, funding terrorism all over the earth as a pretext to put the whole earth in captivity. Bloody crimes are being committed. Read.
And the city is full of violence.
And the city is full of violence. Read.
Verse 24. Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled.
Our holy places have been defiled. Our holy places have been defiled by the powers that are in the earth today. Read.
Verse 25. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none.
We're talking about peace. Peace. We shall seek peace, and there will be no peace. Don't think for one moment that Barack Obama was set up to make peace in this earth. The wars have escalated since Barack Obama have become president. The oppression on the American citizens have escalated. The economy has spiraled down since Barack Obama has been president. He's no different than George Bush or any other president that are controlled by the Illuminist powers, the Council of Foreign Relations, and all the banks that are controlling the earth. So they cry in peace, but the Bible says there will be no peace. If you build a town on blood, let's get that. In the book of Habakkuk. What goes around comes around. That's the law of the universe. You can't have peace through a war. There can be no peace through a war. Doesn't make sense. What goes around comes around. If you build a town on blood or war, it will come down with blood and war. So these countries all around the earth saying that they're getting weapons so that there can be eventual peace in the earth, are dealing with a backwards psyche. That's a backwards mentality. Let's get Habakkuk. Get the second chapter. 2 and 12. Read it.
Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 12.
Here's the prophet Habakkuk. Go ahead.
Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood.
Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood. Look at what's going on over there in the Middle East right now. Yes. Examine what's happening over in the Middle East. You got the Palestinians over there, which is really the sons of Ammon, being totally destroyed, and it's a blockade. No food, no water, no regular running water, nothing can come in to help these people. That's what's going on in the earth right now. But yet, there's no cameras there. That's purpose too. How was America built? On blood. How was this industrial complex we're living in today? This matrix. Where is it built on? The blood of people. It takes warfare to build democracy. And even these children that are dying in these wars, they are sacrifices to the god of Moloch, to the same god the bankers are worshiping. They are sacrifices. It's not the elitist children that are dying in these wars. Read.
Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood,
Go ahead.
and establishes a city by iniquity.
And establish a city by iniquity. You're establishing a town on sin. Look at what happened to the North American Indians. Look at what happened to us over in America. Look what's going on in the earth today. Now, right now, I think we have more people speaking out against the ills and injustices than at any time in earth that I've seen. Not that the ills on earth didn't affect us a long time ago. It's just everyone else is standing up because now what used to happen to the minority have been spread worldwide. It crosses racial lines at this point. They're looking to oppress the earth. And now everyone is standing up saying something is wrong. We were saying something was wrong 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. But people were looking at us and saying, looking at the people that were standing up, saying these are conspiracy theorists. What's wrong with you? The economy is booming. We're doing well. Everything is fine. Now everyone is standing up trying to say, well, if something is wrong. Why? Because it's affecting your pockets now. The money's not flowing like it used to. Read.
Verse 13. Behold, it is not of the Most High of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity. For the earth shall be filled with knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea.
So the knowledge of the Most High is coming into the earth. That's the famine. The famine is the fact that we didn't have the knowledge of the Most High. So while all these wars are going down, and vengeance is on the earth against all the countries that have fought against the Most High and worshipped all these different idols, the Most High is bringing knowledge to feed his people and to nourish his people through these times. Get Thessalonians 5 and 3. First Thessalonians 5 and 3, please. Read it.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. For when they shall say, peace and safety.
When you hear on the news, peace talks. Oh, yes, it's another peace talk. How long have they been talking about peace talks in the Middle East? They've been talking peace as long as I can remember. I was a baby looking at TV and when what's that old reporter's name in the United States, the famous guy?
Cronkite.
Yeah, when Walter Cronkite was on the news. I was hearing peace talks in the Middle East. The Lord says, when you shall hear about peace or see peace, read,
then sudden destruction cometh upon them.
Sudden destruction come upon you when you look for peace. Read.
As travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
And they shall not escape. Usually, when you hear peace, get prepared for war. When they start talking about these, we need peace talks, something that brewed or is at its height, that's about to happen, in which they have to actually sit at the table right now. That's where we are now with Ahmadinejad in Iran. That's exactly where we are. For years they've been ignoring, well, America has been purposely ignoring Ahmadinejad. Didn't want to speak to Ahmadinejad. They're going to need to speak to him now. And one thing about this guy, which is the new king of Persia. Let's get Isaiah 13. One thing about Ahmadinejad, is that he cannot be brought. He's one of the very few leaders in earth that cannot be paid into the system. He's not going to sell his people and his country to the banks. And I'm saying this so that when you look at the news and you hear this thing in which some of your so-called experts from Israel, they might come on and say something like, we need regime change in Iran. What they're saying is they want their guys in. That's regime change. They need regime change like they did in Iraq, because Ahmadinejad will not compromise. The president of Iran will stand. It's prophetic, it's scripture, and we're going to show you what's going to happen with these weapons. Get Isaiah 13. You there? Mm-hmm. Start the first verse.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see.
And we know who the virgin daughter of Babylon is. The virgin daughter of Babylon is a place we call America. Read.
Verse 2. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together.
That's what's happening right now. All the nations are being stirred up. Read.
The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation, to destroy the whole land. How ye, for the day of the Most High is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Most High cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it.
A sinner is him that do not keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. The judgments are coming for those who have broken, who purposely have broken the commandments of the Most High and are unrepentant. That's the judgment that's coming. That's why these wars are culminating or peaking at this point. We're in the earth, and we're now living in the highest time of immorality ever on earth. Read.
Verse 10. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay the haughtiness of the terrible.
And when it says, for the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light, and the sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. When Christ is on his way into the earth, all the luminaries will lose their light and become part of his host, on the way back for judgment into the earth. He will be the only light in the universe coming to this earth. That's what this is speaking of here. Read.
Verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir.
And it's talking about a man of Israel. A man shall be like precious gold. It's talking about a man of the Most High. Read.
Verse 13. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place, and the wrath of the Most High of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land.
And we see that to some degree right now. We see all the nations now are moving back to their respective countries. If you were in America, if you have ever frequented America, you would know that that's happening right now. America is a great melting pot. Because of the fiscal chain that this economy has on the people, everyone is deciding to take and cut their loss and get back to the country they came from. That's what's happening in America right now in mass numbers. Last year, more people applied for their passports than at any time in history. Last year in America. People are getting their children, they're going back. People that have lived 3 and 4 generations in the United States are going back to Asia, or going back to the Middle East, they're going back to Africa, they just leave in America. And not only that, it's hard to live in some of these countries now, financially. Read.
Verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished.
That's the future. I'm sorry to be the bearers of bad news, but this is what's going to happen. Read.
Verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them.
And it says, before we go there, because I want to get into the Medes, which are the Persians. This is Iran, brothers and sisters. It says, their children also shall be dashed to pieces. Before that, it says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the edge of the sword. This is military. A military takeover of the earth. Throwing people out of their houses. Ravishing people. Destroying people. Don't think that can't happen. Look what happened over in Abu Ghraib in Iraq. See, what they show you war is on TV is not war. These guys have the autonomy to do whatever they feel they need to do to the enemy. And the enemy is who the New World Order or the bankers says are the enemies. Read.
Verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them.
Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. This is the same country that are now powering their nuclear reactor. The Medes, Iran. Read.
Which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Mentioned that earlier. You cannot buy them. The other nations in the Middle East have been compromised for money. I remember in the 70s, way back in the 70s, I'm a little kid, but I remember these sheiks and these guys sitting down with American diplomats and everyone smiling on TV. They were being compromised. They didn't see what their children are seeing right now, the demise of their civilization. They brought into the game, but now they have to pay. Read.
Verse 18. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children.
So these guys, the Most High will put a spirit, or have put a spirit, on these Iranians, on the Medes. This is the wrong time to mess with these people. And these people know within themselves that they have to play this prophetic part in history right now. They know that this nation that they're going against is prepared for what's about to happen. They believe it's God's will that they put a foot in the New World Order. They believe that unless they do something within this earth, that the last Imam cannot come into the earth. So they're spiritually attached to this. The Bible tells you that these Medes will not regard silver or gold. I seen a clip the other day that showed all the graves they have already digged for miles, prepared for enemy casualties. This is Bible prophecy in the making. Read.
Verse 19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms.
And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms. Read.
The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency.
The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency. Revelations 18. This links directly to Revelations 18. Babylon the Great, which we know is our dear America, that's made out of every nation, kindred, and tongue. With the beautiful music, the splendor, the light of the earth. America. Read.
Verse 19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
That's the future. This is where we're going. This is what Ahmadinejad is being. Ahmadinejad. Ahmadinejad. Excuse me. I've been butchering his name all day.
I was doing yours yesterday.
This is what he's planning. Okay? There's a race here. You have Iran, you have Israel, which is really a state of America. They've placed Babylon in the Middle East. You have them together in a race to stop this man and to stop this government from fulfilling this prophecy right here. Read.
Verse 20. It shall never be inhabited.
And it says, it shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. We're going to show you what's going to be used to make it burn like Sodom and Gomorrah. So this impending war in the Middle East is going to go right back to America. And see, and that's the reason the scriptures are commanding the people to flee from out of those particular areas. To leave those areas based on this impending war. Now we know the 10 horns, which is Europe, is one of the 10 horns. Europe will stand until the second coming. This place, Europe, will be here. But Babylon, according to prophecy, the future is in this 20th verse. Read the 20th verse.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 20. It shall never be inhabited.
It shall never be inhabited after this war. When this war escalate and these missiles get shot, that place will never be inhabited again. That's the future. Okay, now you have to realize you have South American countries with nuclear capability also who are in league with Iran, who's in league with North Korea. You have Venezuela, you have Cuba. Read.
It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation.
That's the future after the Medes get involved. After the Medes get involved, this is the future. They have meticulously made what you would call a garrison around Iran, preparing for this war. They know that they knew this wasn't going to be easy. They strategically went into Iraq, strategically went into Afghanistan. Now they're at the pinnacle of the battle. It had nothing to do with 9/11. It had nothing to do with buildings falling. It had nothing to do with bad terrorists don't like the way we live. It had nothing to do with the propaganda that's being fed to us on a daily basis. Read.
Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there.
I want to show something here. What will be used that will make this place like Sodom and Gomorrah? Talking about the daughter of Babylon. Let's go to Isaiah 54 and 16.